Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Thursday morning. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Thursday morning, guys. So I want to talk to you guys about 15 things that the enemy is going to attempt to attack, or he's currently attacking you in this area. So there's more than 15, but for the sake of time, let's go with 15. Number one, he's going to get you to try to think things through with logic. There is no logic. There's no logic. This is spiritual. So don't try to sit there and figure things out and why things doesn't look like what God says all around you. It's not going to make any sense to your natural mind. Everything that God has promised you is probably completely left in the physical realm. This is the faith move. This is the spiritual move. Don't focus on anything that's going on around you. You have to know that you know that you know what you felt in your spirit. Number two, confusion. He is sending confusion from left to right. This can be strife on your job. This can be strife in your family. This can be strife with your mate. He's just sending confusion. And the crazy thing about it is, it's like the people are taking bait, but they don't know, right? It's not even the people. So what he's doing is he's trying to have you entangled with strife, arguments, and confusion by either defending yourself or either wanting to set somebody straight because they're lying on you, or he's just it's so crazy. But literally, he is dropping nuggets into people's ear out of nowhere. And so when they're approaching you with certain things, you're trying to figure out how, how how was this even a thought? It's not their thought. It's not their own thought. This is why it's so left and so far off. This has nothing to do with you. This has nothing to do with anything logical. This is a demonic tactic of the enemy where he is trying to confuse people for different reasons. The best thing you can do right now, and I know, it is not easy, right? But this is also one reason why God had you to really work on taming your flesh through fasting and through certain things along the process. Because again, God knows certain things that you would deal with the further you get in this process. Remember, so many of you are so close to due season. So many of you are so close to the promise. Many of you are already in the promised land, but you got to get past another giant, right? So you got to be quiet. I know it's hard. If you're struggling in this area, go on a fast. It doesn't have to be food fast, but the thing that pulls at your flesh the most, go on a fast, because it's crucial for you not to respond. If you respond, you're going to give the enemy ammunition to literally take what you say and twist it. If you think that he's giving people some random lies and some random things, speak on something, right? Try to defend yourself. He's going to take those same words and he's going to twist them, and before you know it, that one little issue that someone has, whatever, is going to now take and it's going to metastasize. So just be quiet. You have to trust God. God will defend you. God will literally defend you. It may not be in the second that you think, but God, I promise you, God will literally go back. You may not even know how he's going to do it, but he will go back and he will correct that lie or that demonic thought that the enemy placed into somebody's head. God will make it clear. It's not your job. Trust God. Number three, he's going to start having you, and this is a lot of people in general. He wants you to idolize the promise. He wants you to idolize the promise. And it can happen so very subtly. You have to be very careful. If you're idolizing the promise, then you're making the promise your God. And it can get very confusing sometimes because you feel like, well, You got to be, you're on this partnership with God. So it's like you got to be doing certain things too. But you got to also be so connected to know when God is telling you to move and when not to move. There are certain seasons where you're going to be moving like a chicken with your head cut off. And then there's other seasons where you're going to have to be so still and do absolutely nothing, regardless of what's coming against you. So be very careful that you're not idolizing the promise, idolizing the outcome. Because if you do that, God will definitely step back. If you do that, it will definitely delay your process, because you cannot idolize or put anything before God. Point blank, period. You got to be 100% focused on God. Nothing or no one can come before God. Next, he's going to paralyze some people with fear. I know some people that they really struggle with that spirit of fear. It's going to be hard, but I'm telling you, because even the people who are bold and fearless for God, we're now being put in certain situations where it's some fearful situations, but you just gotta step into it. Is if you sit down and feel like, well, I'm just going to wait till tomorrow when I'm not as fearful. I'm going to wait until next week when my anxiety is not too, no, it's going to be there. That's never going to go away. Remember, these are God-given ordained blessings. God-given blessings are way, 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 way bigger than you, because it's not even about you, right? So he's going to paralyze you with fear. God is going to actually open a certain door. God is going to put you in a certain room. God is going to do something, and God may require you to make a move while you're there, but the enemy is going to literally hit you with fear that you're going to be too paralyzed to even make that move. You're going to have to do everything in your power. If that means put on some worship music in your ear, if that means whatever you got to do, right? Get strategic. Whatever you got to do to amp yourself up to make that step, because he will paralyze you with fear. Number 5, getting ahead of God. Of course, we know this. This is common, right? I think some people, it just depends on where you are, right? Some people have already just chill out, because you realize all you're doing is spinning your wheels and watering dead grass when you're trying to get ahead of God. But he will try to get you to get ahead of God. In contrast to what I just said with number 4, God may put you in a situation and he may just want you to watch the room. He may just want you to build trust in him. So he may actually put you in an environment, right? That's part of the promise, but he'll say you don't say anything. And you're like, but I'm in the room. Like, that defeats the purpose. No, God's ways are higher than our ways. Nothing makes sense logically. Okay, you're in the room, so now you figure like, okay, the door's open, so I can boom, 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 boom. No, God may hit you and say, don't you open your mouth. I just need you to be in the room. So what do? Be in the room. Stay in the moment. If I need you to do anything, I'll convict you. If I don't convict you, you don't move. This is why you got to be so connected, because it can be so confusing, because it's like you think one thing, then God hit you with something else. Then you think, listen, it's so confusing. But if you're connected and you are obedient to your conviction, you will realize that this thing is literally a maze. It's literally a maze, but it all makes sense at the end. Number 6, counterfeits. Counterfeits from left, right, up, or down. A lot of people are going to take bait because they're tired of waiting on the promise. So you're going to have counterfeits from different directions. Counterfeits can be people, places, or things, but it's not what God promised you. But many people are getting to the point that they're tired of waiting, or it's just too difficult, so they're going to accept counterfeits. And you know that that's not it. You just figure you'll take a shortcut. We ain't got time for that. We want what God says. Point blank, period. Number 7, he's going to try to get you to give up. Just like I just said, a lot of people are just tired of waiting. I read a couple of emails on yesterday, and it's like people who have been in the process probably the longest are now feeling this desire to give up. And it's almost like, if that ain't Satan, what is? Because if you not mastered, but if you've been through this process all this time, if you took all those hits, if you've had all those delays, if you've had all those spiritual attacks, like you stay the course. And now that the time is now, right? Now that the time is now, it may not be today, it may not be next week, it could be next month. But now that the time is now, you want to give up after all this? If that's not a demonic attack, I don't know what is. Number 7. No. See, here we go. Number 8. Spiritual attacks. Then he's attacking the things that's most important to you. This is your family. This is your children. This is your money. This is your job. He's attacking your health. He's attacking the things that's most important to you. He's not attacking things that you can just do without. No. He's hitting those areas where you're going to be like, wait a minute, hold up now. Because I ain't signed up for this foolishness, right? He's going to be hitting you. You got to just stand. You got to stand. You got to stand. You got to trust God. This is a time where we're really always, but more than ever, this is a time where you're going to have to literally just have your faith game on lock. Because see, if God has made you a promise, right, then God is going to protect you all throughout the process. These things can come against you, but they can't touch you. But it touches you, not literally, but it touches you when you're trying to think from a logical versus spiritual standpoint. Number 9, character assassination. Absolutely. Just like the enemy is just dropping some random lies in people's head. Like he's literally making up stories about you. He's making up stories about you and dropping random things. And this is why people are messaging you or emailing you with some off the left. And you're trying to figure out how. And now what are you trying to do? Well, no, that's not true because X, Y, and Z. Like somebody emailed me. Oh my God. It was so all the way left because this was the person who actually was like so fond of me at one time. And then she emailed me out the blue and said, well, the reason why, how did she word it? The reason why either I deleted the video with Michael Blackson or something. I don't know. I guess I didn't like really give him some highlights. That is because he's not attractive. But if it was quote unquote Idris Elba, I would. Huh? So you're calling me bougie? Where is this even coming from? Because just yesterday you just loved me, and now you're accusing me of not celebrating Michael Blackson because he doesn't look like Idris Elba. Sis, I have an ex who looked just like Michael Blackson. In fact, I don't even consider Michael Blackson unattractive. I know many people do. I don't. I do not. The reason why I didn't celebrate him the way you're saying is because he's very, very vocal about wanting several wives. I ain't got time for that nonsense. That's not my portion. Point blank, period. It has nothing to do with the way Michael Blackson looks. But I'm not going to sit there and get into this whole, listen, that's the enemy dropping nonsense in your head because I'm not thinking about Michael Blackson. I'm not thinking about Idris Elba, period. So I don't even know where that came from. But literally, it's character assassination. And anybody who knows me knows looks are not my thing. I love comedic personalities. I love intelligence. I don't care about no looks, period. So, and that's just one way. But I mean, character assassination, period. He's going to just make up lies and make people think this and make people think that. And the people are really taking bait. But this is why you can't even really go back and forth with the people because they don't even know. They don't even know that the devil is literally using them. So you got to stand and you got to trust and believe that God will vindicate. It's not your job. It's really not your job. No, child, that was so petty. Number 11. The enemy is going to interfere with your dreams. This is why some of you were saying that you're having these crazy nightmares, or it's like it's very confusing. See, here's the thing. Well, from my experience, the dreams that's coming from God, it's more about clarity in certain matters. It's more about directions. It's more about insights. A lot of insights. He's showing you what's to come, so you can be prepared for it when it comes. Meaning you're not going to be caught off guard, because he needs you to be prepared. He needs you to be level-headed. He needs you to be grounded when it shows up. So he's giving you a lot of insights. Those dreams are from God. The enemy he's trying to torture you in your dreams, honey. He got lobster attacking people. He got he got hot dogs running down the street chasing people. All kind of crazy foolishness. So he's literally interfering with your dreams. So I said to a good sis in the comment section a couple of weeks ago that before you go to sleep, when you're saying your prayers, ask God to bind up and rebuke all demonic dreams that is not from him. That works. It works. So, and when you do have those dreams, those crazy dreams, when they wake you up, just don't go back to sleep. You gotta get up and you gotta warfare against those dreams. Seriously, you can't let that stuff download and sit into your spirit without rebuking it. No. Number 11. He's distracting you. Oh, he's distracting you and keeping you extremely busy. This is why some of you, like, your workload has doubled, like times 2. Because, of course, if he keeps you busy, then you don't have time to really be tapped in. So that kind of goes without saying. Number 12, he's overwhelming you with stress. That can be work. That can be family life. That can be this. But, I mean, you're overloaded. You're overloaded. You got everybody pulling from you. You got this going on. And then you're dealing with your own spiritual attacks. So this is the time that boundaries are going to have to be crucial. You're going to have to let people know, listen, I just can't do it right now. I just can't come right now, but I got you next week. Seriously, right? And you can't feel bad about it. You have to be unapologetically putting boundaries in place. It's crucial. Number 13, he's trying to confuse you to move or stay. To move or stay. This can look like relocation. This can look like you feel like God have told you got the green light somewhere, and it's like he's trying to rush you to make a decision. Like, no, go. See, here's the thing about that. If God approves it, right? If God approves it, God's going to make sure you get it. So God's you don't have to rush into it. Now, granted, right? Some things does require an immediate response, where you got some people who will drag something on forever because they got to hear from God 1,000 times, right? So I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking more so less about there's an urgency, but you don't have clarity on it yet. There's not a peace in your spirit yet. Don't move on that thing right now, because again, if it's from God, God will make sure that you get the clarity. He needs you to get it. So he'll have you wait for a second. And then in that waiting process, not 5 years, but in that waiting process, he will literally use people to confirm. If you get still and you get quiet, he will confirm it in your spirit over and over. This is why a lot of you keep seeing confirmations over and over and over. This can be numbers. This can be just random people, but it's over and over and over. He's making it clear to you that it is from him, and you do have the green light. Number 14. Listen, he'll start the enemy will have you starting to lose desire for the promise itself. It's like, I mean, I can do without it at this point, seriously. So all this time, this whole process, now all of a sudden it's just like, child, that's an attack. And if you're there, don't worry, it'll come back. That desire will come back, right? You're just going through an attack right now, so just hold on. And lastly, number 15, whatever you do, do not move off of emotions. Speaking of number 14, right? But number 15, don't move off of emotions, meaning don't make a permanent decision based on how you feel today or this week. Just sit in that feeling, feeling uneasy, feeling unsure, feeling this or feeling, just sit in it for a minute, because God's going to bring it back to you. Your desire to change again, right? Again, these are all different forms of spiritual attacks. So you have to understand that the enemy is very, 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 very strategic. Again, you cannot think anything logically. Everything has to be in your spirit. This is why it's so important to always stay connected. When you're disconnected and you get convicted, be sure you reconnect. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.